Hey, Shalom Markins, Rakam, Akapashon, James London, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that's pushing his truth in all sincerity. Satan, man, I just did this video already, but during the court recording, the video corrupted, right? Just like these niggas corrupt, right? And so I'm doing it again, right? But I was talking a bit in the last video. I might do a little bit less talking, but the point is gonna come out still that the Most High he gonna destroy all these false prophets, man, and their organizations, man, right? Because this is what it is. Okay, when you leave leave from the truth and you start teaching false doctrines, you know, and you're all fucking worldly and shit, right? You're casting out the names of the Father and the Son, and all these different things that these other camps do, man. The Lord is going to eventually expose you, embarrass you, right, and destroy you, man. Right? As you see, that I was watching this from Elder Apostle Gabar's, earlier today. He was going into it, so it gave me, put the spirit on me to speaking on it a little bit. But like I said, I've already done this video, well, most of it already, but literally just now it just corrupted, so I gotta start again. So I'm just gonna bring the scriptures out. I say it wasn't planning to be long in the first place, but yeah, let's get back into it. Right. So it's Psalms 127, verse 1, a song of degrees for Solomon. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. Right. So like I say, all these these camps, these false prophets with their schools, right? The Lord ain't with it, and this is why all these things are getting exposed and why they're falling apart. Go with the Sakari, Genesis, and all these dudes, man, because they all ain't right. They've all come up, some other way. Okay, they're all doing things they shouldn't be doing. They're all bringing in false doctrines and, like I said, removing names and removing books and doing all kinds of stupidness. Right, so these things are bound to fail. Right, it's in vain what they're doing. Okay, whatever it is they're enjoying right now, whatever money's coming in and whatever they're able to do with that money or whatever the case, it's all short lived, man. Right, because the Lord's gonna take that all away, man, and you're gonna be judged, by the end of it. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. Therefore, whosoever shall hear these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man. In fact, I wanted to read up more than this. Verse 15 says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves, right? These guys are predators. Okay, they're not men in the Lord. Right? They're entrepreneurs, right? They're scheming. They're schemers. All right, so they appear like, oh yeah, they're meant to be righteous men, and they're all about the law and righteousness and brotherhood and all these different types of things. But these men are conning and scamming everybody, man. It says, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Verse 16, you should know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringing forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringing forth evil fruit. Right, and these are all products of Elazar. Well, we already know his deal, right? Which we told you from the beginning, man. The guy went right. Okay, and again, it's just a matter of time before the Most High reveals these things to the masses, right? You didn't want to believe us, but in the end, you had no choice to, even though you still don't want to hear us, but the evidence is there. You could be ignorant to what it is, but the truth came out, right? These guys were not right, and these are just products of Elazar and his, from the Sakari, and these are just, branches off that, really. All right. So a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Right. So that's what the Most High is going around doing. He's hewing down these camps. And these men are just awaiting judgment now to be thrown in the fire. You know, these false camps are not going to survive. You know, and we always point out there might be men of the elect that are among these different camps, but the camps themselves, they're going to be disbanded and destroyed, right? Because they are founded upon lies, founded upon false doctrines, right? So obviously they're going to fail. The Lord isn't there, right? Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Right? And like I said, these men are turning away from Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, they've watered down his importance and all these different all these different things in the past. Like I said, they're not using the names no more. They're going back to Jesus, which is just fucking stupid as hell. Of all things to believe in, believing his name is Jesus is the most stupidest thing, especially after we know what we know from the things we studied and learned. Right? Going back to Jesus is just stupid as hell. But again, sign of a sellout, sign of a corrupt mind, that teaches these types of things. Verse 24, therefore whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock, upon the truth. Right? And the rain descended and the flood came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And that's what these dudes are doing. Because again, it's all based upon false doctrines and lies and worldly ambition, pride and arrogancy. Right? So of course, when the floods come, it's going to come crashing down. Right? Verse 27, the rain descended and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. All right, so I mentioned in the last one that I just did, these guys will put themselves up, as heads in Israel, as top teachers, professional specialists, above men and teachers that have been in it far, far longer than them. But these men, they shoot to the top, fast tracked, right? They know everything now, right? And so it's going to be a great fall. It's going to be an embarrassing thing, which it is, which is what's going on. Because you put yourself up there where you don't even belong. You don't belong at the top of nothing. You're not fit to lead anybody. It's Matthew chapter 10, verse 32. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. So like I mentioned, in Genesis specifically, they got rid of the name. Just like Nate, he don't teach the name either. The names of the Father and the Son, they don't teach it. They've cast it away. Right? And so they men are propping up Jesus now. Okay, which is an idol. The so-called white man's idol. All right. He says, but whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. So this what's going on right now with them, with the Genesis, right? Is the Lord showing that you deny me? No, I deny you, right? F me? No, F you, right? The Most High Yahweh Shai pulled the plug on you, man. Right? That's what he's done. It's like, nah, you're done. Okay, no more of this madness. All right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. It says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Right? So you've latched onto for falsehoods. Right, and you're teaching others falsehoods. right? But ultimately, because the Most High cast you away anyway, from day He already cast you away. Okay, this is just a public casting away, right? But the fact that the Most High gave you over to false doctrines and and all of that shows you the Most High is not dealing with you anyway. But what we see, what you other people see out there are different things, man. Because we knew that from the start, right? You're already finding that now, years down the line. Okay, that these guys ain't right. Their doctrine's not right. Okay, been warning you for years about that, beginning with our elders and apostles. This is why we always go back and forth, so people can be aware. But most people just want to shun us because because you believe in the slanders that these other groups speak about us. What they speak about us, right? Spreading lies and propaganda. Well, if you want to believe in that, that's cool. That's up to you. You're not out here to convince you otherwise, right? Just know when when the house of cards full and you're in this house, in these houses where the Most High ain't dwelling, right? And the Lord decides to pull the plug on it, you're gonna get caught up in that. All right, and then you're gonna be left confused or destroyed or whatever, man. Okay, when your house falls, right? But we are warning you. We have been warning you about these other camps, and their doctrines and what they be doing, and all of that. So, that's all down to you, man. So then they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables, turned unto lies, right? In 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1, so but there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, right? Who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, right? So again, this is exactly what they're doing. Pardon me, right? And bring upon themselves swift destruction, right? It's coming, right? They might have been embarrassed right now in the public space. Okay, but the destruction is not far behind, right? And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be even spoken of, right? And I said, this all just puts the ministry in a bad light because of how you niggas is acting, niggerish, right? So it puts it in a bad light, man. But at the end of the day, the truth is gonna reign. All right. And through conventional show, they with feigned words make merchandise of you, right? Because these are men that they're just con men at the end of the day. They think of themselves as some type of entrepreneur. They're out there making money, but money's the primary objective for them. The ministry is just this truth, that the Bible, the scriptures is just a cloak of maliciousness, man, that they can throw over themselves and pretend that they're righteous men. Okay, while they're selling you everything under the sun. Making themselves rich, getting fame, and this ministry's got nothing to do with all of that. So I don't know where you get that from. But we do know, all right? Because it ain't from the scriptures and it ain't from us. It ain't from the men in GMS. That's for damn sure. All right. You're all just carnal men, right? Acting upon your lusts. All right. It says, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Right. It's all about to come to a head. All right. It's Sirach chapter 1 verse 30. So exalt not thyself lest thou fall. Right, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. Okay, which is what's happening. So God discovered thy secrets, right? Shit has a way of coming out in the open. Right? So we should all be mindful of that. Right? Because nothing's private with the Lord. The Lord knows everything. And the Lord has ways of getting it out. If he wants it to. Right? If he wants to make an example of you, he can do that. Right? Because that's what's happening is no coincidence. The Lord made it happen. The Lord did it. Right? And so God discovered thy secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation, because thou camest not in truth, to the fear of the Lord, but thy heart is full of deceit. It's full of lies. So this is how the Most High is dealing with you right now. You know? Bring dishonor on you. Yeah, fucking with your rep. You know? That's what you do seem to care about. So that's how he hit you where it hurts, man. Your pride. All right? And just to close up Acts 5, verse 38. Actually, let me read up a little bit. Verse 35, right? Yeah. And he said unto him, ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody. Right? Again, it's like these other camps. You know, they boast themselves to be greater and better than everybody else. You know, oh, we got the truth now, and you know, you guys are old or whatever. You know, they should retire. You know, they ain't teaching it right. What the fuck do you know, little upstart? You know what I mean? What the hell do you know? You know? Anyway, boast himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, join themselves. Yeah, you know, so you join onto these other camps, cool, fine. But what happens? Who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. Nothing. Kind of like the comfy in them. Like he's gone now. Like what? Now what? Now what? Nothing. They ain't doing anything really. You know, the older brother Malak Zakbar, he bumped into a contingency of them a little while ago. But they ain't really on nothing. They can't even break down the mark of the beast. So it's like, they man ain't on nothing, man. They're just some little quiet group in the corner down there. You know, that's it. They're not doing it. Right? So the Most High, he messed them up. And he's going to do the same with the rest of these camps. Right? After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. Yeah, the movement didn't continue. That's why the Sakari's gone, right? Genesis is going to be the same, and eventually all the rest of them. Verse 38, now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught, right? And so, it's like, hey, we don't do anything. Like, we're here, you know, teaching the truth. You know, we're out here teaching the scriptures, much like everybody else is supposed to be doing, right? We're not actually, doing anything to nobody, right? We're just out here teaching, right? But the Most High is the one taking out the guys that are not with him. All right? These ones are coming to naught. Right? Because they're not right with the Lord. Right? So, but if it be of God, you cannot overthrow it. Let's happy you be found even to fight against the Most High. And that's part of the reason why we're still here. Even with our lack of funding. You know, Nate's got all the money. You know, even General Hunter's probably got, you know, a good stack of money with him. With IHBK. But yeah, we're just here, man. We're not out here trying to sell you nothing. We're just teaching the truth, man. You know, we haven't got 4K cameras. You know, Nate said he needs 4K cameras. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Yeah. So even without all these things, we're still kicking, man. We're still doing our thing. We're still being consistent. You know, and we're still on point. Right, and like these other camps. All right. But yeah, the Most High is taking out these other camps, man. Right, so it's because it's of men. Right, because it's of men. All right, so I'm gonna end it there anyway. It's a shame I couldn't post the other video up, but it is what it is. The spirit at the end of the day. So Lord, when this is edifying enough, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.